We just got our blood work done.
Yeah, we did.
And our doctors asked us, what are we doing to have such great blood work?
Yeah. And you know what we told them?
ProCare!
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we told them like, yeah, we take ProCare every day because they have a multivitamin that you can just take one a day.
Yes, exactly. They have a capsule and a chewable form. And not only do they have vitamins, but they also have calcium chews.
Oh my God, they're so good.
They're so delicious. It's like our own little sweet treat for the end of the night.
It really is because they have the dark chocolate and they have the cinnamon roll.
Yes, and I love the salted caramel and the dinner mint.
Alrighty, we'll go to procarenow.com
and use code OSLP at checkout to save some money. You guys ask us all the time, what is our favorite protein powder?
Yeah, literally, we see this question every day.
And the answer is always
Devotion! Yeah. Oh my goodness. I even use it this morning to make my own sweet treat for nighttime because it's just a brownie batter pudding. And you literally just use 1 scoop and then milk or water.
And then I use it every morning in my coffee. It's so delicious. Oh my God. I want one right now thinking of it.
Seriously, it's 20 grams of protein. So go get yours now at devotionnutrition.com.
And use code OSLP to save some money.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back, OSLP family!
Welcome.
You are listening to our Sleeve Life podcast, and this is Kelly.
This is Mel.
And before we start, as always, we like to give you a little update in what is going on in the live show area.
That's right.
There is still time to purchase tickets for Dallas, Texas.
That's right.
We leave on Thursday, and the event is
Thursday.
So we are flying in same day.
That's right.
We are so stoked because it is going to be at a rooftop bar.
I know. I'm so excited.
And we not only get to host the event with Berry Diaries, we get to give Marty big hugs again.
That's right, because it's Dr. Joe and Heather and Marty.
Yep.
We're
I'm so excited.
So excited. So that's March 24th. So you have time
at 7 p.m.
to get your tickets.
And it is the Canvas Hotel is where it's going to be at. So if you are anywhere near Dallas, Texas, I need to move my mic. Then come or go on to berrydiaries.com, purchase your ticket, and come hang out with us.
That's right.
We're
That's
super
right.
excited.
And then we have one more coming up. It's April 30th, and we're in San Diego, which
sunny
I'm so
San Diego.
excited about.
I am ready to be back in the heat and the sun, and just the vibe of San Diego.
Seriously,
is
that
so
vibe,
nice.
It's amazing.
I do want to take extra time and go to Disneyland, but I cannot.
She always wants to take extra time to go to Disneyland.
I mean, there's never a bad time to go to Disneyland. I'm just putting that out there.
Every day.
And if anybody agrees with me, leave a little comment, send us a message, tell me that I am in the right in this.
What would you do if for some reason Disneyland was gone?
Disneyland will never be gone. It will never be gone, ever.
You should have
ever.
seen our face, guys.
If you're watching, then you saw the horror on my face.
She's like, fuck it.
And if you are not watching, pause, go over to YouTube.
Yeah, it's on your phone.
Hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notified. And if you want to see this immediately, go over to patreon.com/OSLP because our patrons get everything early.
That's right. They get them all early. They get the episodes with no ads.
Yes.
So there's special things that come out. We have
There
our own
is.
episodes that are just us shooting the shit about what has gone on in the last week or month or
And
whatever.
not to mention the biggest draw for us from Patreon is the development of the Winner's Bench.
The Winner's Bench.
And we have over 100 members in that
so
group
crazy.
now.
I can't believe it.
Of all of these amazing people who just inspire me daily.
They did
because I'm like, I have to update the benchies. I have to let them know that that I'm in the gym.
Yep.
And so
doing the damn thing.
we're doing the damn thing. And I just love the positivity that comes out of this group.
Oh, yeah. And what I love is that they'll call you out. Jessica called us out, was like, you're not wearing your watches.
She did.
I was so good because it made my butt get up, put it on the charger. I got my gym clothes completely ready to go.
Yep.
And I went the damn day the next day and I killed it. And I felt better because of Jessica from the Benchies.
Yes, so thank you, Jessica.
Do those things to
and
us.
it is also run with our admin, Tanya. She's absolutely incredible. She is in that chat all day long with us, and we are all answering questions and giving love. And it's just a very, very supportive group.
It really is. It really is. And we get to update. They update us on what their day's like, what's going on with them.
Yeah, some are good, some are bad.
But that's the whole point, is like
the realness.
The realness, because life is sucky sometimes.
It is. It is not all rainbows and sunshine, as I like to say. Yep. And there's bad things that happen. But we just try to be there for you guys as much as possible.
As much as possible, yeah.
And I just have to say, with the watch thing, mine is on.
Mine is on.
Yep.
Look at us.
And I went to the gym.
Boomity boom boom.
I went to the gym. I did not make it yesterday.
And it's funny because I made it yesterday, but I didn't make it today.
Yeah. So we're just on this weird. Yeah. But I did go to Physique Fitness, and I worked out with my trainer yesterday, and he kicked my motherfucking ass.
Yeah.
My booty is still hurting from all of those elevated squats that I did. So shout out to E, my trainer. So.
I love it. I love it because I did my first mile in 17 minutes.
Yes.
My personal best. I ran on the treadmill, and that just doesn't happen because I'm so scared of falling.
You're so funny. You're so funny.
I think
I'm like, just hold on.
I'm like, I know. It's because with our watches, if you don't hold on, like if you hold on, then it doesn't count it because you're not moving your arms. So when you're, it does, because I got off the treadmill and I said I only did 0.8 of a mile when I did a full mile.
That's weird because when I'm on the elliptical, it still counts all of it.
Yeah, because your arms are moving.
No, I don't use the arm things.
Well, what? How do you not do that? How do you not fall?
I just stand there.
Oh my God. Scary business.
No, it is not scary business. I do not use the little arm things. I look ridiculous doing this.
Well, everybody does that.
Like,
though.
I'm jacking people off or something. Like, it's not
You're
a good
milking
look.
a cow, or
it's not a good look
milking
for me
a dude
at all. Milking a dude. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
What was that?
I don't know. That was a crazy squeak, though. I squeaked, guys. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Okay, so today's episode, we're just gonna go right past that.
Yep.
Today's episode is all about after you have made the decision to change your life.
Yes.
You have watched us, or you have watched other inspiring individuals.
Yeah.
And you have said, you know what? I think surgery is for me.
Yeah.
Because it is for everybody.
It really
Just
is.
saying.
It's for anyone that needs it.
If you've had issues with, not losing weight with just diet and exercise alone, or if you have PCOS and it becomes very hard, chronic diseases, because that was mine.
Right.
There are so many factors that diet and exercise alone won't work.
And we learned that from Dr. Eric.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
He straight up said that like 1%.
Less than
1% can do it with diet and exercise.
And if you want to hear the rest of that, go over and listen to Dr. Eric's episode.
Yes. Oh my God.
Because it is so enlightening, and he has so much bariatric truth that he speaks. And he is also on the 1,000 Pound Sisters.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Like, he's on a freaking TV show. So it just blows my mind that it's TLC, and it's just crazy. But he is such a down to earth, just incredible surgeon.
I thought you were about to say American, and I was like, what?
He's American. America. No.
I mean, he is, but yes, he is.
That is the truth. That is part truth.
But what I loved about that episode is that he was like still enlightening us, and we've been talking to surgeons for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy, like how much information we still learn, which means it is hard to find information about bariatrics.
It should not be that hard at all. It should not be that hard.
No.
So go back, listen to that episode. But yeah, so you make the decision to have surgery, change your life. Now what? What do you do? What do you do? So I think the first thing I would do is research a doctor.
Yeah, I Googled.
Yeah.
You know, because I asked Matt, I'm like, where did you go? And he told me, and I was like, okay, this looks like pretty chill.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I still Googled more though.
Oh, you
like,
did?
I
Okay.
did. It wasn't just like one shot done.
I thought it was just one shot.
No, I like to research, you know me.
Well,
so I like to just look at, I just want to know what it was. Like, hey, what is this really going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, what is it going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got all the generic graphs and I got all the generic like photos of what tummies look like. And I was just like, I don't understand why one looks like a football and one doesn't. Like, it was very confusing and I didn't understand. But like, I Googled a lot. I was trying to figure out who in the area do I really have to drive up to Portland? Because I don't want to make an hour drive if I don't have to.
Well,
not gonna lie.
Who does?
So I was like, is there any bariatrics near me first? And then looking at them, like, do they have good ratings? Like, that was a big deal. Big deal for me. So I encourage that. Like, look in your area because guess what? Aftercare is very important.
Well, and not to mention, I did not realize, and we've talked about this before, but I did not realize that you can interview surgeons.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Like, I just thought like you just picked a surgeon and then like they chose you.
Right.
Like, I didn't know it was the other way around.
No.
So the first thing I would do with all of the knowledge that we have cultivated.
Yep.
I think culminating is a word, though. I'm just saying.
It might be.
All of the information we've received in the last 2 years.
The abundance of it.
The abundance of information. I would do what Mel did.
Mm-hmm.
Just look up surgeons.
Yeah, that was the key. I should have looked up surgeons.
Yeah, and we didn't realize this.
No.
And I'm so glad that I had Dr. Thompson.
Yes.
Her whole office is fantastic in McMinnville, Oregon. So if you're in Oregon and you're listening to this and you're looking for a surgeon, go to Dr. Thompson or Dr. Patterson in Portland, Oregon. Like, those two, we hands down. I mean, they did an incredible job for us.
And their programs are great too.
Yes.
Like, looking back at her stuff, like she was top rated.
Yeah. She's top rated for a reason.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have the one that did my brother then because he got top rated person. Let's do this shit. Like,
well, and the only difference I think I would go with is Dr. Thompson's aftercare and pre-program was a little bit more extensive.
It was.
So I definitely, like, with all the information we've received, I would do McMinnville all over again because of the care that I got within my time. Like, I even still get texts and emails from them saying like, it's time for your appointment.
That's awesome.
So, and I love that. I'm almost 3 years out and they're still sending out that information.
Yeah, I wish the aftercare was more like Dr. Thompson's. I think that's the key because I don't even know who my nutritionist was.
Yeah. And see, I'm on a first name basis with Ellen. So
no idea who that is. I just know Colin and Dr. Patterson.
Yeah.
So that's it. And Colin's like the person that does all my intake stuff.
Well, and the therapy, like, you didn't get therapy. I got like full on hour-long sessions every month.
Yeah. I got zip because I did the call and they're like, yeah, you're fine. And I was like, okay, cool.
I'm going to scroll for a moment.
Scroll.
If you are watching this, notice that we have new
that is decor. A real squirrel moment.
I looked over and I was like, ooh, we didn't mention the new decor. So we have actual stuff on the table now. Anyways, so I think that therapy is super, super, super important.
It is.
Because of all the bullshit I've gone through in the last year. I don't think I would have not having the podcast.
Right.
If I hadn't had this and all of the support just from doing this, I would have easily gained all of my way back.
You think so?
100%.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
But when you think about it in that way, like, this is for the long term, right?
It has to be.
Like,
you have to think long term.
You can't think like, okay, this is for the next year and then I'm done and I lost all my weight and it'll never come back. That is not a realization.
That's wishful thinking.
That is wishful thinking. I wish it worked like that for sure, but it does not. So really research what the care is going to be. So not only the surgeon,
right,
but what kind of therapy are you getting?
Yeah.
Is it just a 15-minute call? Because that's not going to do shit for you.
No, that's not enough.
Is there a nutritionist or a dietitian that you can go in and see whenever you're having issues? Can you email them? Can you call them?
Right.
Those are all questions that you need to ask when you're interviewing your surgeon.
Seriously, because I didn't even know I could just email my surgeon.
Yeah.
I had no idea that I could do that.
I did.
Yeah.
So I knew that I could. I didn't know that was an option with all surgeons.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And I want to touch base back with a little bit with the therapy because that also is an insurance thing. Because thinking about that was just a screening for the insurance company. Like they didn't need any more follow-up, so they weren't going to make me do any more follow-up. So that's also a thing you need to check with your insurance company. Like what are all the checklists that you have to do? Because on my checklist, it was just the phone call.
Yeah.
And only if they said I needed more were they going to actually allow it.
Oh.
So, I mean, I can always go have therapy, of course, because that's part of anybody. Well, I wouldn't say not anybody's, but that's a part of health insurance is the mental health aspect. But like, it wasn't a part of the bariatric like process through the Blue Cross that I was on.
But I also think because we had the same insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 4 years apart.
They're 4 years apart.
But I also think that because you said the thing of if your program says that you need more, I think that's a part of it though. Because if the program is saying, no, you need to have surgery for at least 3 months, 6 months, whatever the amount of time
therapy,
then the insurance has to cover it.
Right.
So make sure that you're getting the whole point of it is make sure you're going into a program that is going to be a long-term program.
That's going to set you up for success. Yeah.
Correct.
It's huge.
Correct.
Huge.
So the next thing that I would do, okay, so let's say you found your surgeon, you interviewed them, you love their program, you love everything about them. So you do your intake original appointment. They hand you this giant book of information. The big old bariatric binder Bible.
That's right.
I still have mine. What do you do with that? So the first step,
it's a little intimidating.
It is intimidating.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's huge and you don't understand a lot of it. And it's, there's a lot of medical jargon in it because they have to cover their asses along with it.
Well, they have to say that I gave this to you.
Exactly.
And I know for me, like I was going to school at the same time. I was getting my bachelor's then. And I was like, oh, another thing to fucking read.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I literally skimmed it and just pulled out the stuff that I thought was important was like eating, like all the food stuff. That was like the main catch. And then I just read about the sleeve surgery itself.
So don't be like Melanie.
Yeah. I did not go through the whole thing.
Yes. And so that would be one of the things that I think I did really well with mine is that I sat down and I think it had a lot to do with my mom.
Probably.
Shout out to mom. Because she was so scared for me and so unsure about the surgery for so long about it. That I didn't get her on board until I think it was like a month before.
Yeah, didn't she have to meet Dr. Thompson?
I actually had her come into one of my appointments.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that because she was so freaked out, I wanted to show her that it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
So I legit read that binder cover to cover.
Yeah.
And I took sticky notes. I had sticky notes sitting next to me because I remember sitting in bed and I had the binder open and I was reading it. And anytime I came across something that I didn't quite understand or I wanted just more like, what's
Answers?
The word? More
clarification.
Clarification.
There you go.
I would put a sticky note on it and I would write on it what my question was.
Yeah, yeah.
So then when I went in with my mom with Dr. Thompson, I had the binder with me. And so I knew exactly where to go and what questions I had.
Really helped your mom.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it showed that you were prepared.
Yes.
Like you were 100% in and that you had questions and you're ready to go. Like you weren't like pussyfooting this around.
No. Well, and I think Dr. Thompson also had really great answers. She had every single answer to what I wanted.
Yeah.
My questions. I remember leaving the office and my mom saying, you had such great questions. And it was because I read the freaking Bible.
Yeah.
I read it and it was great. And I fully felt prepared going into my surgery because I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, but you do.
You have a baseline.
Have the answers.
That's it. You have a baseline of like, okay, this is what they said that the common
things.
Yeah. But we learned through the process. There's so much randomness to this.
And that brings me into my third point of find support.
Yeah. And not just support of like friends and family that are close. We're talking support that have been through this.
Yes.
Yeah. It's huge.
So there are many places to find people. Right.
Right.
There's podcasts, which I didn't even know existed. until we started one.
She did not.
Well, and there was not any out there until we started
it was
one.
all professionals.
It was all
professionals.
professionals.
It's like, okay, another professional tell me what to do. And it's like, I love you guys, but man.
Yeah.
You know, like I need someone that's been through this shit, that has felt it, that knows what it's like to be a bigger person and to have to feel like in your head, like I have to do this or I'm going to die or I'm not going to be able to see my kids like graduate. Like I needed someone to understand that fear and then have that restriction.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, okay, we're on the same playing field. You understand it. Like it's so important to have someone. I mean, I didn't have anybody, but now that I have this community in you, it's like night and day of support. It's ridiculous.
It is. Well, and not only can you find podcasts.
Yeah.
There's Instagram.
Yeah.
There's Facebook. Be wary of Facebook.
Of those groups.
Some of the groups.
Because you can find people without the group. So
you can. Yeah. I'm just
be careful.
Again, if you have not listened to our Facebook group episode, please go back and listen.
That's right.
It's validating bad behavior with social media. And it came out a couple weeks ago.
It did.
2 weeks ago.
It did.
It's
a good one.
So it is a good one. And it really, because some groups are good. Some groups are great. But the bad advice, that's where it gets horrible. And that's why, like within our group, I watch the answers that people give.
Yeah, I do too.
And there was one that came across that about carbonation.
Right.
And I just very gently said, like, not all carbonation is bad.
Right.
The point of carbonation, no carbonation.
For the first year.
Is that they don't want you going back to beer and soda.
Yeah, no sugary drinks.
Yeah, but if you're drinking 0-calorie seltzer.
Right.
You're fine.
You're fine.
As long as you can tolerate it.
Right. It's because like I could not tolerate it.
No.
It hurt.
And I didn't drink it for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
So like it was a year and a half.
Yeah,
I would say.
You would open it and let it go flat.
I would let it go flat.
Yeah.
Well, like almost flat. So there was a little bit of bubble to it, but it wasn't a big deal. And I also drink it very slow.
Right.
That's the key. But somebody had said, don't ever drink carbonation. And I was like, well, that's not exactly true.
No.
So the point of it is that the advice given without having a monitor on that's where it gets a little scary.
Right.
Also the no fruit thing. It just boggles my mind every day. Like
every time.
Oh, I made you gain 8 pounds in a week. No, fruit did not do that. No. You fucking idiot. So just be careful on Facebook.
Yes.
Pick a group that is positive and has good advice.
Yeah.
And if you're ever worried about getting advice, just go to your surgeon or your dietitian. Yeah. Like there's so much out there.
They're always number one. And then if you can't like, if you need like a personal like information from someone, that's where you go to the groups, man.
Yeah.
And like TikTok has a great following.
They do.
YouTube has a good following. You just got to find it.
Yep.
You got to find your people. Yeah. It's so important because like, if you find your people, you will succeed.
You will. And if you're not quite finding who you want, we're here. We can pinpoint you in the direction of somebody that, we have so many great people on the Benji group.
We do. So many.
I mean, easily.
There's 100 of you guys and we love each one of you.
Over 100. So I think that's kind of going to be finding your advice and support and the information. That's all. I mean, my main place is Instagram and podcasts. Like those two places are going to be so beneficial for anybody that is so new that they don't know where to go.
Yeah. Like start there. And don't, if it gets overwhelming for you, just do one thing at a time. Like you don't have to look at all the things all in one day, all in one night.
No.
Because I know we do that sometimes.
I'm guilty of that.
Culprit of that. Yeah. And it can be very like, just overwhelming.
Very
and then
overwhelming.
You don't sleep. Then you're going to be cranky the next day.
In your head. Yeah.
And you're still going to wake up with the reel going of like, oh, I need to know this and this. And then this person said this. Is that true? And it's like, okay, slow your roll.
Yeah.
One thing at a time. Because that's literally going to be key for the whole journey. It's one meal at a time.
One day at a time. 1 minute at a time.
Yeah. 1 pound at a time.
It's all about that one thing.
You just got to get started. Yep. And it's just little baby steps because it's not about being skinny overnight.
It is
or
not.
being healthy overnight.
And it's not all about being skinny.
It's really not. And I know Kelly learned that through this process.
I
It's
did.
not about just being skinny.
No, because I thought for years, if I can just be skinny,
Yep,
all my problems will be gone.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. I mean, we talked about that with Christine. Like, she thought the same way. If I can just get down to my goal weight and be thin, all my problems are going to be solved for me. And that's not the way it works.
It's just interesting because I wasn't part of the community when I started. And my mindset was like, okay, if I can just get to my goal weight, then I won't be fat again. Like, that's the only thing I had in my head was like, because I was fat my whole life. So I'm like, I just got to get there. I know how to eat. I know how to work out. I just got to get there. I mean, I never hit my goal weight, but I hit my lowest and I've stayed around the same for 3 to 4 years now. So like, I feel like I've really achieved my goal. And that's why it needs to be realistic goals because no problems ever go away.
Correct.
And I think it's because the way that I was raised, I watch problems just fall apart all fucking day.
Yeah.
We have a name called the Austin Curse for a fucking reason.
And she's handed it over to me.
I have rubbed it all on her because she's with me daily. And that's the deal is like, I've learned that like nothing ever goes away. Life is actually suffering. It's not where it like perfect every day. Like literally you have to just understand that life is suffering is a part of life and it's going to happen. You just have to push through. That's a whole 1 day, 1 meal, 1 minute at a time thing comes from because suffering is a big part of life and it really just makes us stronger. And we learn so much from it. Like I've learned so much from you, so much from my family, so much from this podcast of like, holy shit, like it could be amazing on Tuesday and then Wednesday you wake up and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, like this week.
Yeah, exactly like this week. And you have to roll with the punches. And you know what? Did one of us go out and have cake? No.
I may have had a sugar cookie.
But that's not cake.
It is not cake. I did not go to cake.
Right? And it's small. Like none of us went to our trigger foods this week, even though it was a fucking stressful week. And that is a win in itself. Like that's what's important is understanding like, hey, shit's going to happen regardless of what you do. That's why losing the weight is not going to fix everything. That's why the therapy is so huge, especially if you see yourself going down these holes and not be able to pull yourself out. Because that's the scary part.
Yes.
I always worry about that for our friends and family.
Oh, yeah, of course. So the other thing you were talking about goals.
Yeah.
That is something that I did not do ahead of time and I wish I would have.
Yeah.
Number one, write yourself a letter.
Yeah.
Of why you started this journey, where you're at.
Which we're going to do on our surgeries. I didn't forget about that.
Okay, good. Remind me.
They're coming up.
They are coming up. Mine is next month.
It's next month.
Oh,
it's like,
my God.
It's a little bit less than a month
Can't
away.
Even believe it.
Kelly will hit her 3 years. I'm so proud of her. She's going to write her letter and then I'm going to write mine in May and then we get to open them a year later.
A year later. Yeah. So, which is perfect. It's perfect.
So write yourself a letter.
Write yourself a letter. Tell yourself where you think you're going to be at in a year. What you hope to gain from having surgery. I think it's really important to write yourself a letter and then also go over what are your goals over the next year.
Right.
Like you can, and don't like not so much put that in the letter, but put it somewhere where you can see it. So whether those be a list of non-scale victories, a list of things you want to do with your life.
Yeah. For those that like vision boards, this is perfect for you.
Yes.
Because I know Jeremy has it's not like a vision board per se, but it's up in his room every day and he sees his weight go down and he has the stuff about his workouts and stuff like it's in his face.
It's in his face.
So you can't ignore it. And that's what's key. So listen to Kelly, get your list out, put it out in front of you.
Yes.
And it will really
put it
help.
on your mirror.
Yeah.
Like that's something you're going to see every day. You can't really ignore that.
No.
And as you think of things, you can easily add to it.
Seriously.
Because there's no end of a goal.
No. And pick realistic goals.
Yes.
That's the biggest key. Cause like me and my son are working out with Kel. And what I love to hear him, he's like, you know, what goal should I have? And I was like, I don't know. What do you think? And he's like, I think I just want to be in a large shirt. And I love that he said that because he's like, it wasn't about the scale. It wasn't about inches.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. It was literally about, I want to feel comfortable in my clothes. And I was like, that's a great fucking goal. So that's how you guys can do it. Like if you have like an outfit that you used to wear, that could be an awesome goal for you. Like just get it. But don't be like, I want to get that extra small. Like that's
no.
Be realistic about the clothing as well.
Yeah. Because you don't want to make these goals and then if you're not hitting them because they're so out of the realm, you don't want to feel disappointed.
Exactly.
So make realistic goals. Start small. Be
goals.
Like, I want to walk down the street and back without being out of breath.
There you go.
That's a very small and doable goal.
And real goal. That's a real goal. We know people that it's hard for them to literally just walk to the corner and back.
Yes.
So that is a very realistic goal. And I think that we should honor those little goals because, and then celebrate them because that's where the work really comes from. When you celebrate yourself and then you're like, you feel good, it makes you want to do more.
100%. I was taking a drink when she ended that, so I apologize for the space of time that it took me to answer.
That's okay.
I am drinking my protein coffee.
She is. I watched her make it this morning
with Avi and Devotion. Just putting that out there. Code OSLP15 for Avi, and Devotion is OSLP.
That's right.
And you get money off if you use those codes. So
totally do.
Go buy some right now.
Right freaking meow.
They're delicious in Proffies.
They are.
Something I think though we do need to celebrate those goals. So make them doable, start small. The non-scale victories will start pretty much. I mean, it started for me immediately. I just didn't know what they were.
Yeah, you got to teach me what they were.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Like I had heard the term, I kind of knew, but I didn't know that it went to everything. So it was like me walking around the halls and not in pain. That was a huge non-scale victory. I didn't even realize it was a non-scale
When you told me, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So definitely make your goals.
Yeah.
Start researching high protein foods.
Yes.
So, because that is going to be your life. Right after.
Super.
And so if you have that list that you are already cultivating, then you just know what foods to have.
It could be like foods to try because guess what? Your taste buds are going to change. So things that you may have liked, maybe you don't like, you might not like. And things that you thought you didn't like, you might actually like now. And that happened for me. And I know it happened for you with the whole chocolate vanilla thing. That thing is so funny. But it's very true. So like pinpoint the highest protein stuff. And a lot of them are fish. And like I learned I like sole fish. I had no idea. But I tried it. That was the point of like, oh, these are the high ones. Oh, I've never tried these items. Maybe I might like them. Maybe you still don't like them, but you don't know. And that's the key because what we were doing wasn't working, obviously. So we have to try new things. We have to get uncomfortable, and you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and learning that it's okay to not like food. Because I know it sucks to like tell someone like, oh, I don't like it. But it's like, it's not the way that you cooked it. It's just, I just don't like food.
It's like for banana for me. Anything banana flavored, I'm not going to like. So it doesn't matter if it tastes good or not. I'm not going to like it.
Exactly.
But there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
Like that's just what your taste buds are.
Exactly.
Speaking of new things, Zach made me a steak last night.
Yeah.
And so he made steak. I did take a picture of it. Steak. And then there was this garlic butter shrimp from Costco.
Okay.
So he made it the other night and it was really good, but we just had that and fish.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
I wasn't really feeling the fish the other night. So I just ate the shrimp. But his idea was he was going to cook the shrimp, cook the steak, which that man knows how to cook a fucking steak.
He knows how to fucking cook, man.
Well, yeah, that too.
Damn.
And then he took the steak and poured the shrimp over the top.
Okay.
So it was shrimp and garlic butter that was over the top of the filet mignon.
Oh.
It was so damn good.
That sounds good.
It was so damn good. I wanted to eat the whole thing. I could not.
Oh.
So the rest of it went to Chloe.
Perfect.
But it was so damn good. So, but that is such a high protein food.
Yeah.
Because you've got that shrimp, which is already high in protein.
Yep.
Then you put a steak on there. That's like all protein.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
Yep.
So start researching like ways that you can put protein together too.
Yep.
So just research high protein foods because that like, don't worry about calories. Don't worry about carbs or
the
vegetables.
Sauces. We don't count sauces.
I don't count sauces. I don't fucking care what
some people do.
Says.
I get it, but we do not.
I do not.
Because literally for the amount of sauces that you can even get in your body, with the protein, it's minimal. Just stop it.
No.
Don't even think about it.
You're not drinking ranch, so it's fine.
Right. Just don't fucking pour it in your mouth.
Kelly says it's fine.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, if you want to drink ranch, I guess that's an option, but
oh, that just made me go, ugh.
I know, right?
I was
It's just like,
I pictured someone with like the Hidden Valley Ranch just like squirting
oh my
in
God.
their
Zach
mouth.
showed me a picture the other day of somebody with a straw in the ranch.
No.
Yeah. I was like, that's so Zach. That's so gross. Yeah. So yeah, start researching like what are the highest protein foods? What can you pair together?
Yeah.
Because that's going to help you later on because you're not going to have to think about it. You're just going to be like, these are the foods I'm cooking.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I make them. It's high protein. I've got what I need for my body.
Yeah. And I think starting that early is so important. So listen to Kelly, do that early and start doing like the little things that we've learned along the way. Like when you feel full, push your plate away. You know, when you're
don't
at the
eat in front of the TV.
Yeah. Don't eat standing up. Don't eat in front of the fridge. When you feel full at a restaurant, get a to-go box, put the stuff away.
Or order the to-go box right away.
Right away. Yeah.
So you already have it. So as soon as you're done, you can just throw it in the box, close the lid, you're done.
Yep. There's little tips and tricks that you can do prior to surgery to kind of get your mindset ready to go. Because the more that you do that prior to that surgery, you're going to be way more successful and it's going to feel easier. Because you're not like shocking the system and being like, oh my God, I got to do all these things afterwards.
Correct. Well, the other thing I was thinking of too is that if you start these things right away, you're actually actively moving towards your goal of having surgery.
Yep.
So it's not like this huge 6-month period, 3 to 6 months, however long your process is, that you're just sitting there like twiddling your thumbs.
Right.
Like you've got goals in your head. And that doesn't mean that all of your problems are going to stop within that moment. Like you're still going to have the cravings. You're still going to deal with all of that. But you're making small steps to be ready to take your life back.
Yes. And small steps are good.
They do add up.
Yeah,
they end.
Really fucking do.
So even if you're like, okay, I had 2 great meals and then I ate cake for dinner. Okay. But you had 2 great meals. So let's try for 3 tomorrow. Or, maybe the next day you only had 1 great meal. But like, those 3 meals in 2 days, they add up over a long period of time.
They do.
So you are actively working towards an end goal of being ready for surgery.
Yeah, because the whole point is to be healthy, happy and healthy.
Yes.
I think that's what was mine, is to be happy and healthy and to be happy with myself, being proud of what I've done and what I've accomplished that day. So if you're like me and you want to be proud of yourself, like it is about like getting that water in and getting that protein and being like, yeah, I fucking did it today.
And the movement. Yeah. Start moving now.
Yeah.
So even if that is like every 10 minutes or let's say 10 minutes is too soon. Let's say every hour you set your timer and you say, okay, I'm going to go walk for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Go and do that.
Go.
And you're getting that movement in. So eventually it's going to be like, okay, it's 3:00. Oh, I got to go move.
Yep.
Like you're not even going to think about it because it's already a routine.
Well, what's funny about that is even on the weekends, I'll look at the clock and be like, oh, it's time to go. Like it's time to get, because you built the habit.
Yep.
So if you can do it for so long, you're going to build that habit of like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this already. And that's what's key.
Yes.
It's so important.
Yes. So this may be, some people may not agree with me on this.
Okay.
But I think doing a food funeral before surgery is so important.
I think for the right people, it can be.
Yeah. Now, for me, I needed to physically say goodbye. I needed to be in the restaurant, have that food, and know that it's fine that I'm not going to have it for a while.
Yeah.
I needed to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And I needed to like end that relationship. So for me, I think it's
a breakup.
Yeah.
You're like breaking up with the food.
I was like, and I'm not saying that I think back then I did it a little bit differently because I was saying goodbye in intention of never having it again.
Yes.
And I think that was the wrong mindset to be in. I can totally admit when I'm wrong. I also didn't know any better. But I think if you are going to have a food funeral, go in with the intention of being like, I will see you later.
Yes. That's what I was going to say was like, it just needs to be the mindset of like, it's not forever. It's a see you later.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's just like, hey, I'm going to take care of myself for the next year or two. And we're going to just part ways as friends. And we're going to come back to each other when I can handle it. Because that's the deal, is like learning what foods you can handle versus you can't handle. Like, I have these fucking crackers outside of this door. But Zach was very fucking nice, and he gets these random pallets of
very
things.
Sweet when he thinks of people.
Yeah, and he brought me a whole pallet of crackers. The premium crackers is just saltines. You wouldn't think anything of it, right? You wouldn't at all. But I've realized it's triggered a very like
mindless eating
from childhood that now I cannot have them in my house because I want to eat a sleeve at a time. And I forgot that was a trigger food for me, because like when I was a kid, what I would do is my parents would fight, I would clean, and I would eat crackers. And the whole like memory popped in my head, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like 12 years old now. Like, this is fucking weird. I got to get this out of my house because I will eat every fucking sleeve. So like that's the deal, is like knowing, okay, what are your real trigger foods versus I'll just see you later foods. Because for me, I have foods where I'm just like, I just can't. You know, it's almost like crack. I can't.
Well, and that can change too.
And it can.
Because
Totally
I thought that my trigger food was pasta.
Yeah.
I totally thought it was my trigger food. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about it.
It was one of your favorite foods.
It was one of my favorite foods. But I don't know if it was a favorite food because it was easy to make.
Fair.
Or if I just truly loved it.
Yeah.
But now going through the last year, through the divorce and trying to cope with all of the emotions and everything coming up, I go towards sweet.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I didn't realize it sooner, but it's not pasta. I can go out and have a couple bites of mac and cheese and I don't want to eat the whole bowl.
Yeah. So it wasn't actually a trigger
food. But
food.
if you put a fucking piece of cake in front of me, I'm going to try to, as hard as I can, to eat that goddamn cake.
I will chew like nonstop just so I can have the cake or the, for me, cheesecake.
Yes.
I'm like, I will slowly eat this all day long. So I feel like it's okay, even though it's not.
Maybe make a list of things like trigger foods, things like that you want to talk about in your therapy.
Yeah.
And go over that.
Yeah.
Because I think if I had talked more about trigger foods and why they're my trigger foods, I maybe would have come to a realization that was a thing.
Yeah, because if I had the therapy, then I think I would have known sooner about this cracker business. Because it really triggers my childhood and trauma and like abuse, like emotional abuse that was happening in the house that I didn't realize was there. Like I knew that it was there, but I didn't know it affected me. And it did affect my eating. I was coping with eating.
Correct.
That's exactly what I was doing.
You have come across a lot of realizations in the last year.
Yeah.
Of things that have popped up from your childhood.
A shit ton. A fucking shit ton.
Yes.
And it doesn't help though. Like when you like, oh yes, I wasn't like super, super close to my aunts that passed, but I was close enough that I felt the effect. But what it did though, it triggered all the fucking memories of being a kid. And then the memories of like what they were doing at those times and realizing what they were doing and then realizing how I was coping with what they were doing and how no one was like, hey, maybe we should stop.
Well, not everybody has that wherewithal to be like,
they don't, because they were in
bad behavior.
Yeah, because they were in their own shit.
Watching me.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is I've learned like being a parent too and being an adult is like you're just in the shit. You don't realize what you're doing is actually affecting yourself and everyone around you. You think, oh, I'm just fucking up myself. But no, you're fucking up people that are around you. Like it slowly just disperses little nuggets all the time. And you just have no idea until afterwards. And that's what was happening with me with that month, January and February. I was eating shit that was bad because I was trying to cope with all the memories that was happening. And I didn't realize like, oh, I have a lot of blocked memories. So that way I was like, nope, we just don't remember those things.
Yeah.
But then when I was
why
eating,
would you want to?
When I was eating crackers, man, they just started flowing back. And I was like, these fucking crackers.
You know, that happens to me when I'm driving.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'll be driving and listening to songs or something like that. And something
songs
will
are
like,
son of a bitch.
It'll like go into my brain and then I flash back to the last 15 years of my life and all of the things that like, and it's not necessarily bad, but it's not good.
No.
And it's not something I want to think about.
Right.
But it continues to go into my brain. And then I'm like, why the fuck am I thinking about this? Like, I don't want to think about this. Or I drive by a fucking dog on the side of the road and then my brain starts going crazy about how I don't have my dogs anymore.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, I don't want to think about this. I don't. Like, stop.
It's your brain's trying to heal because like there's some damage there.
Because if there wasn't damage, I wouldn't think about it.
Exactly. And our brain just trying to like understand it, figure it out, and then we can push it along. And that's why we say, feel your feelings. So I would suggest anybody that's going into surgery, guess what? You're going to have to learn how to feel your feelings.
Because you cannot cope with food anymore.
No, you cannot. It can't be your coping mechanism. So right now, what I suggest is letting yourself have 10 minutes. Like if you feel something, you don't have to just sit in it. You have to just sit in it because sometimes it actually goes away pretty quickly. You just need to feel it though. And what people try to do is eat, drink, smoke, whatever your vice is to like cover it up. So you can't feel those feelings. But if you actually just let yourself, it doesn't take that long. Your body just needs to know how to react to it.
And if those moments happen, write it down, bring it up in therapy.
Yes.
Because the only way you can deal with it is number one, feeling it, and number two, talking about
Acknowledging it is huge.
Acknowledging it. Be like, okay, I see you. I see you. And I'm going to write you down. I'm going to talk about you and then we're going to go away.
And I know people get scared about writing things down because it makes it real.
And that's why it's a form of therapy.
Yep. But I highly encourage it. I really, really do. Cause it's helped me. Like just writing shit down every once in a while. And I'm like, okay. Cause like I actually found a pad up there and you can see me just writing the shit that I was going through. And then like I was able to process and talk to Eric about the things that I wrote, but it was way more clear. Because you ever notice when you approach something, you're like, especially if you're emotional, it's like scattered, right?
Well, yeah.
You're like hitting all the things, but like none of it really makes sense, but it makes sense to you.
Yes.
But the person on the other end's like, what? I don't understand. And that's what I did with him. I literally wrote some shit down one day and I don't even know why I did it. I think I probably heard it from you. It was like, write shit down.
Oh.
So I did it. And it really helped the conversation later because I didn't go into it emotional.
You already had those emotions on the paper. And so then you could have a honest and real and undramatic conversation.
Yeah, because I was able to process my feelings. Instead of projecting on someone else and making them process with me, I process myself. And I think that's going to be key for other people is like, hey, let yourself process. It's okay to feel this feeling. Your body is actually made to feel this and react to it. Like we have a great body. Our brains and body are fucking amazing. And it's so interesting how well it can cope.
Yes.
And it does it way faster than what we think because our brain doesn't want to deal with like frantic things.
Well, because it wants to protect us. We've learned that. Your brain is there to protect you emotionally and physically.
Yeah. That fight or flight's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's really good. Write it down when you're feeling it. If you're driving, do a voice note, do something to like talk it out. And that's why we love this podcast and talking because this is our therapy.
It really helps.
Because we can process these things. We've learned all these things about ourselves that we didn't know beforehand.
I've learned so much in these last 2 years about myself. It's insane. And I thought like, oh, I have it together. And I did have it together.
You do.
But there's like a whole nother side that I've been able to open up and process and think about and not get mad either. I'm like, I'm way more calmer about things.
Are you?
Except for yesterday.
Are you?
I am way more calmer.
I don't know if I'm
not breaking windows. That's a key.
You are not breaking windows. You wanted to. You did not.
Yes.
I'm very proud of you.
Right? With the American Airlines thing, I didn't break a window. I told you I wanted to. I told you and Eric both on the phone. I was like, I fucking want to break this. And you both were like, no.
The window didn't do anything to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like the anger has definitely changed.
Well, and it's not that you're never going to get angry ever again and want to break shit.
Yeah.
No.
But it's definitely how you deal with it's different. Like you see me in the car, I laugh at you because you're just like screaming at people and I'm just like very calm. We'll get there when we get there.
And I'm like, no, get the fuck out of my way.
So it's definitely like if you start opening up and processing yourself, you're more calmer in different situations because you have the tools now. Yes. Before it was just food. I was like, I'm going to Arby's and I'm getting my fries. That's what's going to make me feel better. When really it was like, I just needed to think about it and talk it out. Like the fries aren't helping.
No.
It's just there. I just put that on the fries. I put the power in the fries, and I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't know at the time. And that's what we were doing, is putting the power in the cake, power in the fries, whatever your trigger food is. So we can take our power back. And I think that's what's really empowering about the surgery. And that's why it's not the easy way out, that you actually have to empower yourself and be mindful. And now I feel so much like a better person because I'm not projecting my problems on objects.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like I'm talking through things. Like even with yesterday, me and Kel got into a little argument, but we talked it through, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry for snapping at you. That was not okay. I was
not ready to accept that at the moment, and I was very quiet.
She was.
Because I started to say it's fine, because that's my saying is Kelly says it's fine. And then I was like, but it's not fine. No. So I'm just not talking to you.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I know it's not okay. I shouldn't have done that to you. You didn't do anything wrong. And that's why I was like, but prior surgery, that's not what Melanie would have done. I would have just snapped and been like, you get to deal with that now, and walk away.
Fuck your face.
Right? I would have never processed it. And like, because that's what I was doing over there while you were silent, was like thinking and like, okay, that wasn't okay, Melanie. How do we tell her sorry without it coming off like an asshole as well?
Don't be an asshole.
So I just encourage everybody to research your surgeons, research yourself, basically do some self-assessments, write things down like Kelly's telling you. Kelly has great ideas. And
I don't always follow through on my own ideas.
That's okay.
But I'm getting there slowly.
Because we're human.
We are human. I have always been good at advice.
Yes.
I don't necessarily take my own advice, but I am good at advice.
She is.
In another life, I was a therapist.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. The other thing I was going to check on, and this is real quick, that you may not know whether you want to share your journey with everybody at the beginning.
Yep.
You may not. I mean, personally, Mel didn't share anything until we started the podcast, really.
Yep.
And I was very open. But I also didn't announce it on social media until it was approved and I had a date.
Yes.
I was not going to announce it to everybody. But if I was like in a family setting, I would tell everybody. I didn't care, because obviously it was a little weird that I'm like 280 pounds drinking nonstop protein shakes.
Right.
Like, that's a little strange.
What's going on over there?
Yeah. So, but I also think, like, don't worry yourself with that type of thinking. You'll know when you're in the situation whether it works for you or not.
You'll know when you're ready.
Yeah.
That's what I realized, was like when you're comfortable.
Yeah. Don't push yourself to tell everybody if you're not ready, because then that's just a whole mess you don't need to deal with.
Yeah. That's a stress and overwhelming feeling that you don't need to. Yeah, she's right. You don't need to deal with it.
But if you are at peace with your decision and you're good and you know this is happening and you don't care whether people know, go right
the
ahead.
shit out of it, man.
Yeah, do whatever.
Yeah, shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah, but just like don't rush that decision to tell everybody, because it is a very personal decision.
Yeah, and know that it is okay to keep it close to your vest if you want to.
Yeah,
like
that's completely okay.
And then if you want to shout it, shout the damn thing.
Yep,
because we want to hear from you. We want to see you.
So tell us.
Tell us.
Of course, you don't have to tell everybody, but you can tell us.
Yeah, because we're like a vault. You tell us shit and it doesn't go anywhere.
Correct.
Like, we don't project anybody's stuff on podcasts. You're not gonna hear that shit.
No, not at all. So, and definitely not names. We don't tell anybody names. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But this is a very long process for some. I mean, it can take, I know with Kaiser Permanente right now, they're at like a year wait list.
Right.
So it could be anywhere from, depending on where you go, because some people go to Mexico, which is totally fine. Just look into aftercare after you're done.
Yeah, if you get surgery in a different country, cool. But when you come home, what you need to do before you leave, I think, to go to these places is find a program here that you can join, because there's support groups all over. There's a lot of bariatric support in your areas. Just find that. Talk to your PCP. You go, hey, like, I'm going to do this regardless of what you're telling me. I feel like this is what I need.
Yep.
Be like, but I need aftercare. Can you help me?
And we do have a list of the blood work on our Instagram. So if you need a better list for that, it's on there.
Because they can run exactly what the bariatric panel should be from the ASMBS.
It's just a little different levels than a typical person that has not had surgery. And so just keep that in mind. Make sure that your PCP is aware that you did have surgery.
Right.
and make sure that they know that it's different levels because they're a PCP, not a bariatric surgeon.
Exactly. And and you can't assume that they know.
Correct.
Because that's not their specialty.
That is not.
There's a reason why we go to a bariatric surgeon for bariatric stuff.
Yes.
I'm not going to go to my foot doctor for a bariatric surgery
or go to the foot doctor for therapy.
Yeah.
That's not what they're there for.
Exactly.
So just be aware of that. If you are, I did want to touch on that real quick because it's not that I have a problem with people going to Mexico and have surgery.
Right.
Mexico is great.
It's been super helpful.
They do a great job. I have the aftercare worries me.
Oh, yeah. And it should because we've seen it. We've seen what happens when you don't have good aftercare, regardless of where you go. If you have shitty aftercare or zero aftercare, it's hard.
Yes.
It is real hard.
Utilize your aftercare.
I'm not saying that you can't do it because I had aftercare, but not a lot. And I was still able to do it. But it's
it's just helpful.
It's super helpful. And it just makes things a lot easier. Is this journey's hard enough? If you can make it a little bit easier for yourself, then do it, please.
Yes.
Get that aftercare.
And if anybody is out there that does not have aftercare and is needing more of a dietitian, therapy, support system of professionals, there are places that you can go online. One of them is with the Sleeve Dietitian.
Right.
She has a huge team behind her.
Yeah.
She is a accredited dietitian. So she can help you. She has programs that you can sign up for. I think it's just the sleevedietitian.com.
Yeah. And she has a bunch of experts over there. That's what's really cool.
Almost all of them have had bariatric surgery.
Yep.
So check it out if you are one of those that needs something else.
It's called the Tribe.
The Tribe. Yes. There's a whole saying for the Tribe. I won't go into it, but there is options like that for you. So if you're thinking you need that, that's where we would recommend you going.
Absolutely.
And we did do an interview with her, and that is actually coming out next week.
It is.
So 1 week. So excited.
1 week from when this releases, hers releases. And I love that fucking episode.
Yes.
We're already scheduled a part 2, guys, because we're there's so much more.
Well, I mean, Jamie's our people.
She totally
she's
is.
so great.
That
she's
vibe.
It's just our vibes totally mesh, and I love it.
I love it.
So if you guys have anything else to add to the list of things to do in between of I'm going to have surgery and then here's my date. There's a whole section in there that you can do to get ready for things. If you have something that we didn't mention, please let us know.
Yeah, put in the comments.
Love to know.
We want to hear from you. Ask us questions because we're going to gather a bunch of questions for an actual questions episode.
A Q&A episode.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check us out if you want to see all the faces that we made during this episode because there was a lot of fun.
There were a lot of faces going on in this.
So go to YouTube right now, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified because every Tuesday's drop day, man.
Drop day
for everyone. It's great. You get the brand new episodes on audio. You get the video episodes on YouTube. That's a week later. You get Patreon episodes that are exclusive just to patrons. So you have to become a patron, $10 or higher. That's patreon.com/OSLP. And if you do $10 or higher, you're automatically in our benchies.
Yep.
And you automatically get these exclusive episodes from me and Kelly. They're 20 to 30 minutes at the most. And we're just telling you what's going on with us.
Yes.
You get
and
behind
if
the scenes.
In the $10 or the $7 or higher group and you are not in our benchies, send us a message. We'll send you the link.
Yes.
Because we want to make sure everybody's in there.
That's right. And check your messages on Patreon because every time there's a new person, we send you guys a link.
Yes.
So just monitor
make sure
your messages.
that you're checking your messages if you are a patron.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we love you guys and we will see you next time.